Discourse Ive, Beloved Lord Maitreya, October 14, 1951, Shasta Springs, California. Precious ones of the sacred fire, it is with great joy and very, very great satisfaction that we are to spend a few moments with each other, and in this, draw closer and closer into your knowledge of the sacred fire and the way it controls conditions in our octave of existence. Were you to take the command in your call to your beloved I am presence and to us to teach you our way of life, then make the demand that your blessed mighty I am presence, through its own heart's flame, moves in and through the outer self and prepares conditions so as to manifest here that which we have in our octave. You might say to me, well, we are not ascended yet. Well, you are moving toward it. Someday you must have the picture if you are to attain it in 90. Discourse Ive, 91, Manifestation. But let me tell you what it means to say, teach me your way of life. That means that we may show you the way life acts in our octave, and life in our octave is the concentrated energy that is much more powerfully concentrated in our action than it is in yours. Since there is no discord by which it may be requalified, then there can come to you, beloved ones, many revelations that will be very practical for you to use in the outer world even today, because the way our life acts in our octave is always harmonious, is always comfortable, is always balanced and pure, and can never create anything but perfection that brings happiness to all. Now you have all through the centuries tried out every conceivable way by which your life did things in the physical world. You tried out your own ideas and your own feeling, and you have not gotten too far on the right side of the book of life, have you? You are farther than the rest of the world, I know. But look how long through the centuries have you been trying out the desires of the outer self and the ideas of the intellect that, while the feeling was to create, the ideas brought forth did not produce for you, in that which you created, the perfection for which you had hoped. 92. The I am discourses on supply. Therefore, regardless of what you have to do in the physical world, before you enter into it, retire into the flame of love from your own blessed I am presence, and you enter into that by drawing the feeling of the outer self within the heart flame in your own heart. And as you feel that great stillness, does there come the raising or lifting power that draws you closer in your feeling world into the great flame from the heart of the higher mental body. After you have felt that intense stillness and its power, then call forth to us to charge our way of life into your way of physical activity. Let our way of life be your pathway. Then you can draw activities into the physical world that have never been here before, but which are to come as the greater perfection of the incoming civilization is expressed in physical action. Therefore, as your call goes to your presence, and to us to teach you our way of life, the way our life acts in our octave, then you can command your life of the outer self to act exactly as ours does. Now this takes a cosmic command and a definite decision on your part that the energy of the outer self shall act as we act, that the life of the outer self shall act through the life of this world as our life. Discourse Ive, 93, acts through this world. Now when you demand this into outer action, it will come. And the easiest way by which you may feel your presence is to still the solar plexus and raise, through your love, into the feeling of the higher mental body. The solar plexus is a ganglionic mass of nerves that are radiating forth from the back, in, through, and around the stomach. They are placed there as a protection to hold harmony, while the digestive process of the body goes on, to help produce perfection in the flesh structure. But the peace and the harmony of the feeling has been so often interfered with, that mankind have lived in a continual turmoil in the feeling world, and Hence, they do not let the life within live the way in this octave that our life lives in ours. Now, if you want us to teach you how our life acts in our octave, you make the call, and hold your own energy quiet, and enfold it within the flame of love from your heart and from the higher mental body. As you turn your attention to your heart and know that the unfed flame there comes forth at your call and spreads its radiance around the outer self, you give the higher mental body the opening, and by uninterrupted harmony as it flows through, will you find it joining our radiation from 94. The I am discourses on supply, without, and then, my dear ones, when you move into a situation, you have control of yourself before you touch the aura of someone in the physical world, who might be disturbed or have something to do with that which you wish to accomplish here. If you are going to hold harmony in your world and produce the miracles we want you to have, the first place you must control the energy harmoniously is within your own feeling world, and you will find as you just still the outer for a few moments, and then as you give it into the control of the unfed flame in your heart and to the enfolding flame from the higher mental body, just for a few moments, then make your call, and go into outer action, you will find you will draw many wonderful powers from the higher mental body into your outer use. And I am stressing this because the higher mental body is always waiting to release these powers into your outer use and direction. But it cannot and will not release those powers until you have gained control over the feeling of your own solar plexus and have learned by habit to still that energy whenever you want the gift or the power from the presence to act in your outer conditions. Discourse 95. The moment you still the energy in your feeling world and raise it into the possession and control of the unfed flame in your heart and into the higher mental body's control, then the presence can hold command of the atmosphere about you, and it drops, as it were, a curtain of its own flame in and around you to hold gathered within you your own energy. And as long as you hold that quiet, then whatever is necessary to control conditions in the situation, you can control with the feeling of mastery, because the sacred fire, which is the unfed flame in your heart and in your higher mental body, is always the master element that holds energy in balanced action. Therefore, if you give the energy of the outer self into the possession of your own heart's flame, and then raise into the possession of the higher mental body, you have disconnected the streams of energy that ordinarily flow out from you. You have disconnected them from the discord of the world around you, and you have drawn within your own powerhouse your energy, and raised it into the control of the higher mental body. Then, because of the great calm, poised control, it can blaze around you those activities of the sacred fire. 96. The I am discourses on supply, that purify the energy or the conditions with which you must deal, and enable you to get accomplished that which is constructive in a very much shorter time than otherwise would be, and this takes the struggle out of your daily activities. The moment you are content, my dear ones, to surrender the control of your feelings into the possession of the unfed flame in your heart and into that of the higher mental body, the moment you are willing to surrender that, peace comes on the instant. And that is why this must come first before the tremendous release of the greater powers of greater energy in your own life. Streams can come into your outer physical use to do what the world calls miraculous. This has gone on a long while, my dear ones. In mankind's outer activities, many have turned away from the discord and sought the silence within, and whenever they have accomplished that, power and control comes into the outer conditions, and just naturally things set themselves in divine order. Balance takes place. everything goes along in the divine order that enables you to accomplish that which fulfills the divine plan. Now, when I said, when you turn your attention to your presence and hold control of your feeling. Discourse 97. Then lift it to the higher mental body. When I said, you withdraw the energy around you, I want to show you what happens. Ordinarily, when the guard is not up over the feeling world, the radiation of the energy from the physical body and the feeling world pours forth in straight rays of light. Just streams of energy are constantly radiating out from your physical body. That is when you have plenty of energy within and are rested and positive. But after several hours of activity or in moving among discord, if you do not know how to protect yourselves, the contact of that constant radiation out into the atmosphere of other people, there comes a suction, and it keeps drawing off the energy that was within the body, and then you begin to feel tired and distressed. Could you see that from the inner standpoint, where the rays of light are strong and positive in the morning? When you are rested, when you become tired, they droop, just like that, with the weight of the discordant substance in the atmosphere in which you move or the radiation of the discord from others. That is why when I said, when you still the solar plexus and draw the energy of the outer self into the possession and control of the unfed. 98. The I am discourses on supply, flame. Raise it to the higher mental body. It immediately drops around you a curtain of its own cosmic fire. And that is what enables you to go forth into conditions, pour into them what corrects the wrong, and stand the guard over that which is right. This is a powerful protection which all of you need, because the outpouring of your own radiation is the thing that either keeps harmony about you and attracts to you what you require, or, if it be discordant and depressed, drops, and you have no protection. The destructive forces ride in on your own energy, and the next thing you know, you have something to handle. Now you say to me, well, what about our tubes of light? Well, what about them? That's just what I am talking about. When you become discordant or distressed, the protection of your tube of light is down, and it has opened up and let the destructive energy from the outer world come into your feeling world. There is nothing so necessary in all mankind's outer activities as a calm, poised, inner control of the energy at the solar plexus, with the authority of the outer self, that it be raised into the control of the unfed flame in the heart, and again raised into the control of the higher mental body. Then, Discourse 99. It can fill up the cup and re-energize the outer self, drop the flame of its protecting love, and enable you to go forth and try again to accomplish that which is constructive. Now all through the centuries, various activities of protection have been offered to mankind. In the beginning, around the emotional body, which extends for at least 3 feet on each side of the physical body, there was a natural oval of light substance from the higher mental body that was a natural, enfolding outpouring of absolute purity from the higher mental body around the energy of the emotional body of the outer self. But as time went on and discord from within was allowed to charge into that substance, it was just as if the discord tore a hole in a fine chiffon garment, and another one occurred, again and again, until that entire protecting oval of light substance was destroyed. And that is why the mighty Saint Germain gave you the exercise of the tube of light for energizing the outer self, that this might be re-established if you make the call. This was a natural, enfolding oval of light, and you lived in that, my dear ones, in the 2 first golden ages as a natural, enfolding oval of light substance about the physical body. 100. The I Am Discourses on supply. Just as the ascended masters today come and go in a similar oval of cosmic light substance through which the discord of earth cannot pass. Very often, when we manifest, we come within the oval of light substance, and as we step through that to become more visible to your physical senses, still, that substance remains around us. And when we are through with our radiation and retire within that, we raise its vibratory action and disappear, and it is just as mechanical as an airplane. Try to realize that because a thing is invisible, does not mean that it is not made of visible, tangible substance, because if it happens to be invisible to your physical sight, it is not invisible to us. When you realize how limited is the action of the senses through the physical body, you'll understand what I mean. The actual power of sight from within the higher mental body only functions through the physical eyes when the vibratory action of the optic nerve is functioning within certain octaves of vibration. And that is a very small proportion of what we speak of as the vibratory action of the magnetic spectrum. You hear within certain rates of vibration. You see within certain rates of vibration. You can feel farther than you can hear or see at the present time, but below your power of sight and above your power. Discourse IV 101 of sight are infinite rates of vibration in the energy of the universe wherein there is consciousness, and you can be conscious of what is there just as well as conscious of what is here. Every night, my dear ones, your waking faculties go somewhere while the body sleeps. You know you are not all in that body on the bed, are you? Oh, no. Very little of you is there. Just enough of the energy to keep the vital processes of the body in action. But most of your consciousness, your power of sight, your faculty of sight, your faculty of hearing, your faculty of feeling, your faculty of speech, your power of action, mark you, has withdrawn to a very large extent from the atomic structure of the body, and your faculties go somewhere else and do something else in bodies of substance in which you are alive. Because you know that you have brought back the memory of thinking and feeling and speaking and acting in the substance and in the body of that which is not the physical body that you leave asleep. So your physical senses, or what you call physical senses, are also elastic. They come and go. They come and go from this outer self to this other inner octave of life. And there you see the way of life, the way life acts there. When you are in the physical. 102. The I Am Discourses on supply, body, you see the way life acts here. Therefore, if you come into our octave and try to understand how our life controls conditions there, if you bring the memory of that back into your waking consciousness, and the feeling with it, you have but to keep your attention upon the memory of that and enable yourselves to feel it again and again in order to draw those same powers of life into your outer use. Now it is as simple as your ABCs. You don't think so this moment, but one day you will, and when you do, and you have proved that I have told you the truth this hour, what will have happened to your thoughts and your feelings of the present, that think you can't do that now? What will have become of the thought and feeling in your life that you can't do it, after you can do it? What happens to that which said, I can't? You think it through? That was only a rate of vibration in your thoughts, in your mental body and in your feeling world and in your speech. It was only a thought and a picture. It was just a passing wave of vibration that passed through you, and you just accepted it and it controlled your outer action. When you asked to be taught our way of life, the way our life acts in our octave, then the Discourse IV 103 rates of vibration from our octave, our thoughts, our feelings, our pictures, those rates of vibration come into you and blaze out through you. They enfold you, and then you feel them. And as soon as you feel our way of doing a thing, there comes the illumination to the mind that you can do it. And then you try, and then you will succeed. Because if you never try, you will never succeed. If a music teacher can radiate her or his or her knowledge of music and the feeling of that music, and the instruction about it to a student, and the student makes the application until he or she can do the same thing, well then, the music teacher has taught the life in the student his musical way of life, hasn't he? And the student can absorb that completely, and go forward and play the same thing just as well, and sometimes better. And that is exactly the way it is with us. We give you the thought, we radiate to you our feeling of the power to do that. We radiate to you the picture. If you take it up and think on it and feel it and hold the picture, and then you try. Who of you can tell me what you can do in a few trial? That is the way of teaching. Precious ones, from the tiniest child to the greatest cosmic beings in the universe, everything that is greater than you. 104. The I Am Discourses on Supply are now is ready to teach you about itself and give you the feeling of itself. Reveal the perfection of itself into your outer use, and you have but to try and keep on trying until you feel it deeply enough to qualify all the energy in your feeling world. And as soon as all the energy is saturated with the feeling of that which you want, the energy surges, and the first thing you know, the power is released and you industrial yourselves doing that thing. It's a mechanical thing, and therefore, in order to comply with the cosmic laws demand that you ever reach up and learn to do that which is greater than what you are doing now. The law is such that those who are in charge of that greater activity are to pour to you their thoughts, their feelings, their pictures, and their love to illumine you and show you how their life acts to produce that. Then you use those same faculties, and your life learns to produce that. It is but a perfectly natural way of radiation. The ability to do something greater than what you are doing now has to be radiated into the energy of this outer self both by your higher mental body and from our octave. And that is all done by the power of the great central sun magnet. That is Discourse 105. The magnetic power of the universe. Because it pours its energy down with its consciousness, and as soon as it connects with the energy in the feeling world, it begins to lift that up into its own vibratory action. And it is just as simple as tuning a string on a musical instrument. The moment you tighten the string, you raise its pitch. Well now, after you tighten it and you raise it, where did the other pitch go that was lower? It ceases to exist, doesn't it? In that string. Once you raise it, well, that's the way with your troubles. And I'm here tonight to tell you that as I pour my love down into you to raise you into the feeling of my harmony and my way of life, your problems, and your struggle and your discord of the outer, your limitations, will be as completely gone if you feel me, as the wrong tone is gone if you raise the pitch of the string. It will disappear just that easily. For once you step into the higher vibratory action with the energy and feeling of your own life's action, when you step into that, the other becomes non existent to you. That passes out of your world forever. So don't you see? You only live in that of which you are conscious, whether it be good or bad, comfortable or otherwise. You can only live in 106. The I Am Discourses on Supply, that of which you are conscious. And when you are conscious of the way our life acts in our octave, while you are thinking and feeling and desiring that and holding its picture, everything else below that does not live for that moment in you. Do you see now how you let go of your human creation? I hope you get this today. Applause. Audience rising. Thank you, precious ones. Won't you be seated, please? Now you are doing this all the time, more or less, but you don't quite realize it. And hence, you don't definitely command what you want to be maintained permanently. Supposing you are cold outside, and you come into a room and you go over to a radiator and you stand there a few moments and you get thoroughly warm. After you get thoroughly warm, where is the feeling of cold that you had a few minutes before? It doesn't exist, does it? It doesn't exist in you after you get warm, does it? Now think this through, because it's your secret if you understand it. Therefore, the moment you raise the energy of the outer self into the possession of the unfed flame in your heart, and offer it again to be raised into the unfed flame of your higher mental body, the moment that energy comes into that and you begin. Discourse 107. To feel that the stress and the struggle and the discord of the outer is gone. And that is why the blessed Saint Germain has repeatedly said to you, where your attention is, there you are. What you think, you create, and what you contemplate, you become. Therefore, if you contemplate our way of life and you begin to love that and desire it and feel it and call it into yourselves, you will very soon find many of the things of perfection from our octave coming into you and your world and seeking you. And may I say, the things of the outer world do not seek you like that. So I think our way is superior to yours. Your physical world. In the world of things, you have to go out there and lasso them and bring them in, to hang onto them long enough until you use what you want, before somebody else takes it away from you. And we don't live like that. See, our way of life is the way that ever raises everybody and everything into greater freedom, greater love, greater perfection, greater dominion over everything. So if you will lift your energy into your own heart's love and raise it into the possession and management of the higher mental body, asking our way of life to be taught to you, and charging that energy with our feeling and our pictures. 108. The I Am Discourses on supply, and our action and our way of life. Then the presence can pour that out into your affairs and draw to you those things that will produce the perfection we have in our world. Now, will you try to remember this concerning your supply? Now, there is a great deal, God knows, plenty of supply on this earth. But what do they do with it? People to whom it does not even belong say that it does belong to them, and then they misuse it. They still want to hold on to it. When they pass out of the body, everybody else fights over it. Now let me show you something. If you want limitless wealth and supply of every good thing, so that you can live in your world like we live in ours, and you call to your presence and to us to bring you the wealth, the opulence, the supply of every good thing which is yours by divine right, and I mean by that the energy and the supply that was yours before you left the great central sun, then your presence can draw forth from its own channels, whether it be in our octave or yours, it will draw to you that energy and supply of the things of the universe, the things of life that it wants to use to express its will done here in the fulfillment of the divine plan. Discourse 109. Then it wouldn't make any difference how much someone else is using of the things of this world or how much they're abusing the things of this world. It's nothing to do with your supply. I want you to be free in that acknowledgement of your own supply that is yours by divine right, that was given to you from the great central sun before you came into physical embodiment. You accepted the responsibility of consciously using a certain proportion of the energy of the universe to create down here as your free will directed. Therefore, In accepting the responsibility of the use of that energy, you had to have a certain supply that belonged to you and nobody else in all infinity, in order to express or create that which you agreed to create before you left the great central sun. So, this supply of which I speak is that which has been preordained for all of you before you came into this embodiment. And that's what I want you to have when you call to us to teach you our way of life in this world, our way of drawing supply, our way of using supply, our way of blessing life everywhere with the love that keeps your world clear so that your own supply can reach you. 110. The I am discourses on supply. Then it wouldn't make any difference if everybody on the earth was misusing everything. Here, it's no excuse for you. You don't have to be under that law. You have a right to call for the supply of the universe that is yours by divine right, brought into your outer direction to produce the way of life that we live, that you may pour love where hate seems to be, that you may bring light where darkness appears, that you may hold protection when danger opposes, and that you may forever expand the gifts and the beauty and the perfection of your own blessed heart's flame into the outer conditions of this world to make a perfect garden of paradise out of that which mankind has soiled. Is that worthwhile or not? Applause. Audience rising. Thank you, precious ones. And while you are standing, just a moment before I leave, will you call to your blessed I am presence more often, and just drawing the feeling of your own life's outer energy into the unfed flame in the heart, offer it back to the presence, and then say to it, give me the boundless supply that is mine by divine right, and see that I do your way of life in the physical world to do your will. Here, express your divine plan, and live the way. Discourse 111 of the Ascended Masters. Bring this to me, then you direct it and control it and protect it, and I will give the obedience that enables the perfection of these manifestations to be produced in the world around me to serve you, my dear ones. A surrender and a call like that to your presence with uninterrupted kindness in your feelings, with uninterrupted stillness and feeling of your oneness with that presence, asking it to show you its way of life down here, will as surely bring it as you do it. So I leave you with the desire to experiment with it. I don't believe you quite had that desire before, but I am here to give it to you, and we'll see what you feel in the future. Applause. Thank you, precious ones. Now I clothe you in the love of my heart's flame, that golden flame, golden and pink, of my love from the great central sun, within which is boundless supply. May I offer its enfolding radiance to you all to help give you this feeling of absolute stillness within, that just keeps drawing and drawing you into your own heart's flame and raising you with love and devotion into that closeness with your higher mental body, until its enfolding radiance about you clears away everything, and you say with 112. The I am discourses on supply. Eternal gratitude. Thank you for your way of life. See, I forever abide in it and use your love to make that way happy for others, until they too learn the divine way to live life in the physical world, until all becomes the perfection expressed that raises all to the ascension. This is one of my joyous services to the earth. And then keep calling for all the wealth that is yours by divine right to come now into your outer physical use and enable you to live the way of life of your presence and of our octave, with the command that the wealth that is brought to you shall never be touched by human qualities, but shall carry only happiness and freedom to all life, so to its glorious dazzling victory and to its marvelous success do I call you this hour, and shall forever watch your every effort until you feel the fullness of this power and go forward free to use it without limit. until your joy knows no bounds, and your world never has a limitation again. That is our way of life. I leave my feeling of that with you and charge you with our ascended master consciousness and direction of that which is brought to you until all of the glory of life unfolds and gives you its Discourse IV, 113. Boundless blessings, that you may give them to others until the way of life from all that is above becomes the way of life to all that is below, and never a shadow ever again cross your path. To that eternal joy and victorious glory do I call you tonight, and give you every possible blessing of my love and feeling until you experience it in its fullness. I commend you to the mighty victory of my heart's love and the boundless supply of our octave of life in yours to set you free. Thank you, with all my love, and good night. Won't you be seated, please?